This video is brought to you by Razer. For gamers, by gamers. Different Town of Robloxia is another Town of Robloxia game that was originally created by OneDev2. This version of it is not created by OneDev2, but by a user that goes by the name of Julius Coles V2. And to be honest, it's a copied mess that uses a lot of free models. Let's go in the game and I'll give you a look around. So welcome to the town of Robloxia. As you can see, I have spawned at the school. In this game, you can roleplay as a variety uh, of different roles. In this playthrough, I was roleplaying as a student. In this game, it gives you a set of roles that you choose as you spawn in. In this version of Town of Robloxia, the creator, Julius Cole V2, has added 3 new roles. You could be a teenager, a bus driver, and a daycare worker. And that's it. That's all he's really added when it comes to roles. You'd think in a game such as this, he'd be able to, add more variety when it comes to roles. But that's clearly not it. So I mentioned that this game has free models, which it does, and it has plenty. For example, there is a parking lot that Julius Coles V2 has added near the police station that is very, very obviously a free model. And all there is to the parking lot is what appears to be a small wall and a sign that indicates parking. Another obvious free model is what appears to be a very small beach that has grass around all sides except for the side that has water going over the sand. All there is on the sand is a bunch of little beach seats or whatever you call them. I never really knew the name of what you called those things. Another obvious free model in this game is a very, very empty gym that has only a basketball hoop with about 1 or 2 basketballs and a weightlifting set. That's it. And both of these things are completely across at each other at both ends of the room, which is strange. It makes it pretty obvious that it's either a free model or this guy is very, very bad at building. And unfortunately, the list continues. He has a free model church in the game. He has a free model car wash in the game, for whatever reason. And he has a free model dance floor in the middle of the grass by the car wash for some strange reason. Okay, but let's get off the topic of free models for a bit, because there's a lot of them. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he also has a free model daycare that looks nothing like a daycare at all. But anyways, how fun is the game? Well, the game is only as fun as you can make it, which can only go so far in a role-playing game that is set in such a boring setting. I mean, it's a modern town with modern people, and you have a list of roles. That's pretty much it. In this game, you can obtain a house. All houses are free. There are a variety of many different houses, and there are many options you can do to your house. For example, you can lock the doors, you can open the garage door, and you can close it. And that's all the options you have for a house. There are also a few locations you can visit in the very small town of Robloxia. One includes a Target, a McDonald's, a school, a factory, a fire station, a clinic, a news station, and a few other things. He also mentioned in the descriptions that he's added free VIP, more cars, faces, hair, areas, selections, whatever he means by selections, and a ton of cool new features. Well, let's go over that. So, he's added free VIP, which is just based off the VIP from the original Town of Robloxia, which gave you a very fast car, and it would allow you to skydive, and it gave you an RP gun, which was not available to anyone else, obviously. That's all he's really done. He just made it free, obviously. He's added more cars. The only more new cars, excuse me, that I've seen is a SWAT car and a Jeep. Those are the only new cars I've seen. I might be wrong. If you guys have seen any more cars, put it in the comments below. Or, hey, doesn't really matter. He's added faces and hair. Well, yes, at the top left corner of your screen behind the chat, there is a face changer which clearly isn't his and it's a free model or free script that he just added into the game. It doesn't add anything new to the game besides faces. Doesn't make the game any better at all. He's also added hair. Yes, there are hairs that you can pick up in front of the target for one reason or another. The hairs are very ugly. I don't know why you'd ever actually want to put the hair on. And it again doesn't add anything, you know, better to the game. It just again takes up more space. He's added areas. Well, he hasn't added areas. He's just added buildings, and all those buildings are free models. Either that or they're just poorly built. But odds are they're free models, especially just because of the way that everything's put together. It seems that they're just free models. Another thing he mentioned is selections. I'm not really sure what he means by selections. If anyone could elaborate on that, I'd probably come back to this and talk about it again. And tons of cool new features. Okay, so from what I can gather, the new features are what he's mentioned in the description. The free VIP, more cars, jobs, faces, hairs, areas, and whatever selections are. He's also added a train for decoration, but I've never seen this train. So it's either on new servers and I haven't been on them, or just doesn't exist. So overall, I don't think this game is really worth your time. I would prefer to play the original, but that's just me. From what the description said, it's pretty obvious that Julius Cole V2 has kind of lied about updating this game. Sure, I mean, it's true what he says about more More cars, jobs, faces, hairs, and areas, but only to a certain extent. And it's very, very minimal. He hasn't added much. He's just added a few buildings, hair, which doesn't improve your game experience whatsoever. Jobs, okay. He's added daycare worker, which no one is ever the daycare worker. Well, I don't know why you'd ever want to be the daycare worker. Be a bus driver, which is pointless because no one ever rides the bus. And the teenager role, which is really pointless. Why do you need a role to tell what your age is? What if you're a teenager but you also want to be a student? See the problem there? You can't be both. You can only be one. The faces, okay. That's a nice feature, but in the end, that's not really necessary. The areas, he's lied about that, clearly. Excuse me. Clearly, he's lied about areas. He hasn't added any new areas to the game. Just buildings. Buildings are not new areas. They're buildings. They're part of the one small area. Julius Coles V2 might call me a hater for hating on his game, but it's not a very good game. In fact, it's barely even his. He just added a few models that probably aren't even his to the game, and claims it to be a completely new and different experience, pretty much, which isn't true at all. So, call me a hater. I don't care. The game is bad and not worth your time. I hope you enjoyed this review. This game sucks. It really does. Don't play it. Please. I don't even know why it's on the front page. There are so many other good games that people could be playing, but instead they choose to play copy garbage like this. It sucks. Play better games, people. I'll see you all later.